We have just come out of the New Zealand premiere for Next Goal Wins. It's Taika Waititi's next film that he's directing, and it stars Michael Fassbender, Oscar Knightley, and Kaimana. Now, this film is based on the American Samoa football team who got smashed 31-0 by Australia in the 2001 World Cup. Pretty much, they hire a coach to come coach the American soccer team and to pretty much take them to glory. So it's pretty much Ted Lasso but soccer, but Polynesian soccer, because I just realised
Soccer and football are the same thing.
Soccer, yeah. So, James, we saw it. What do you think of it?
Next Goal Wins and we lose. What's happened to Taika? What's happened to...
Oh, is it a rhetorical question?
No, that's a serious question. What has happened to him?
Hollywood ego.
That is exactly what I think it is. I think he may be washed as a director. Genuinely. Like I don't know what has happened to him over the last few movies. Well, what have we had? We've had Thor, Love and Thunder, which was his last one, and that movie just, we don't need to talk about more about Love and Thunder. We also had Jojo Rabbit, and that won an Oscar, but I think that was from a great Oscar campaign because I didn't really like that movie at all. I don't think it's that great. That's just my take on it. He needs to stop doing. He just needs to improve. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I'll go to the movie specifically about Next Goal Wins. This movie, it doesn't really work on any levels at all. Taika tries to find the perfect balance between heart and humor. And he misses on both sides of the coin for this one. Like, if we're going to talk the comedy in this movie, I didn't. There are some moments in there, maybe 3 that are funny, that are actually funny.
Yeah, definitely.
And just the humor, man, it's so forced. It's so unbearable. I mean, just like...
It's repeated jokes as well.
It's repeated jokes. It's so forced. And... when there's a joke playing, they'll say the joke and then, it's crickets. No one's laughing. But then they say the joke again and again and again, like in consecutive order, not just throughout the movie at one time.
One goal.
Shut up. It's just, it's just so, it's cringe. And, I go back to Thor Ragnarok, which was really funny, as well as balancing, the heart and soul of the film. He's dropped off a massive cliff here. He's so painfully unfunny. And he even did a personalized message to his home country, New Zealand, welcoming them into New Zealand premiere. And he even made that cringe, which was not funny at all. He's lost. He can't write comedy at all. It's painfully unfunny. So if you're going into this movie thinking that you're going to have a good laugh out loud moment, you're not. You're going to come out the other end because this movie is a fucking shit piece. It is so bad. Taika Waititi is not a good director. He needs to come back to New Zealand, direct New Zealand films because he doesn't belong in Hollywood because he's not good enough for Hollywood. He's just not that guy. I will not believe it until I see it for more than 3 films consecutively like most other directors can do. I'm over it, man. And it's not because, it's middling kind of movies. It's his responses to these types of movies. Oh, I shouldn't have made Thor Ragnarok so good so people wouldn't have high expectations for Thor Love and Thunder. No, Ragnarok was good. Love and Thunder's shit. And then, I didn't even know what he was saying about this movie, but he's lost the plot. He needs to really, really be humbled because I know he's got the talent to do more than this, and he hasn't. He's just not doing it. And, me and you especially, I was saying this before the movie, Next Goal Wins was in like our most anticipated because it's been like delayed like 3 times, and then it dropped into our least anticipated by the time the movie was coming out because of how Taika is progressing, or should I say regressing as a director, Mm-hmm. So yeah, he needs to be humbled. He's just taking on movies that just aren't for him. As for Michael Fassbender's character, I don't know what the hell that character's doing. One minute he's like, "Oh, I don't belong here. I need to get out," and then the next minute he's like, "No, they got a shot. They can do this." and then he's like back to being angry again, and then he's happy again, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And the ultimate message of the movie is, oh, be happy, have fun out there. Do you know what sports is, Taika? They get paid. The athletes go out there, they make money, they make an earning, they provide for their families, they give back to the community with the amount of money that they're paid for these movies. Sports isn't about going out there and being happy and playing. It's about being competitive, being disciplined, working together as a team for a mutual goal. It completely loses the plot. I don't know exactly what this movie is saying at all, but again, he's trying to find the balance between comedy and heart. There's no heart in this movie because it's like completely missed, and there are potential moments for greatness here. If I was to watch this movie without knowing it's a Taika movie, I would think it's a directorial debut of somebody who's trying to like make an independent film. That's exactly what I would think. It does not feel like an experienced director coming into this because it's just so messy and jumbled. The messaging, the forced humor. I mean, I've seen Transformers movies funnier than this. This is horrible, man. Like, I could never watch this movie again. It's really, really made me mad. And I don't like shit talking Taika. I'm not a director. I'm not smarter than a movie director, and I cannot sit here on a podcast and say how Taika should do things. But they just aren't resonating. They're not resonating with me, and clearly by other scores and reviews and all that kind of stuff, it's not resonating with other people as well. I want Taika to, be able to reflect and be able to improve as a director. He has more potential than this. So that's why I went off. Yeah. As for, the narrative of the movie, there is a character, Jaya. I thought they had a potential to work more with that character. That can be where the heart comes into this movie. I think there was some, really potentially, quite emotional moments that could have been had with that character and Michael Fassbender's character as they, got to know each other. But it's just so shallow, and it's trying to be funny more than it is trying to, focus on these characters. Not to mention the film's entirely rushed. Like, I was like, what the hell it kept going on like faster and faster. And I'm like, okay, so we don't have time to focus on the characters. We don't have time to establish, a thematic of the film that can be built up throughout the entirety of the movie. What are we going to do? Oh, we're going to do forced, unfunny, dumb jokes. Like, it's just an absolute nightmare. As for the visual side of this, nothing is noteworthy. Nothing about this movie is noteworthy. Like the main character in the movie, the Hollywood elites need to fire Taika Waititi, send him back to New Zealand for him to make New Zealand movies. I'm done. I did not like this movie. Don't be surprised if this makes my worst movies of the year.
You done?
I'm done.
Oh, okay, cool. So that's James going off on a rant, and completely understandably. It seems like as if Taika has done Kiwi humor, but did it completely wrong. Like, Kiwi humor to a perfection is Hunt for the Wilder People and Boy, that. Those are probably one of his two. No, that is his two
best movies easily. Yeah,
and yeah, I am considering Thor Ragnarok in that as well. But those little independent films are his best films, and literally his most funniest films as well. And he seemed to like when Ragnarok came out, he seemed to have captured that Kiwi humor and the Hollywood aspect, and it just perfectly, synced and meshed together to make a great film.
Yeah.
And then we get Jojo Rabbit, and then Thor, Love and Thunder, and then this, and just seemed like as if he was like, oh, let's just amp up the Kiwi humor, but in a non-funny way. I mean, the funniest moments happen just really from the actors' just reactions to stuff and looks rather than stuff that's actually been said.
Yeah.
Those are literally the funniest moments in the film. So yeah, I think he needs to put his ego aside and literally start listening to the critics. I know a lot of directors don't, because for obvious reasons, but this one, it's like 3 duds in a row, somewhat.
Yeah.
And he just needs to be humbled a little bit. Like most directors can take the criticism and then improve, but he just seems to be ignoring these criticisms because he probably thinks that he is better than everyone else. I mean, New Zealand Premier, and he doesn't even come for it.
Yeah.
You know,
He hasn't come for any since we've been doing this, by the way.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've had JoJo, we've had both Thors, and now this. Yeah, no showing. His attitude towards New Zealand has been very negative, publicly at least.
Yeah, because he's got that Hollywood fucking buzz and
Yeah.
Rita Ora now, so don't worry, Rita. I still think you're great. But yeah, this film, you mentioned heart, and it does have heart, but it's done poorly, and it does have passion, but it's done poorly, you know.
Mhm.
It does capture the culture of America Samoa and just the Polynesian sort of culture, and that's what I reference to for my remaining thoughts, not just American Samoa, because
Yep.
I am lazy to say American Samoa. It's just more easier to say Polynesian. So yeah, it captures that Polynesian sort of culture pretty nicely, you know, the whole like community coming together to watch an event, you know, because you definitely see that, especially in these smaller islands. I mean, look for the recent examples, Tonga in the Rugby League World Cup, Samoa in the Rugby League World Cup, and Fiji in the recent Rugby World Cup.
Any reason to talk about the Rugby World Cup, eh?
Any reason. Yeah, I mean, when Fiji, they beat someone big. Australia, I think.
Yeah.
My uncle who lived in Fiji said the whole island was just buzzing for
Mm.
like pretty much that whole day. Like they pretty much just had to write that work day off and just make
Yeah.
it like a unanimous public holiday because, you know, like everyone was buzzing. They beat like a tier 1 nation and they're like a tier B. You know, it's huge. And they sort of capture that sort of here where like everyone just listens and watches the game. So they did that really well, I think. But other than that, you know, the whole passion of the sport, they try to capture it, but it was rushed. You know, the build up towards the climax or the end of the film should have been impactful, but it was just made a butt of a joke throughout the entire film. We just couldn't capture the passion of the sport, which is football and soccer and the Polynesian culture as well. It was just unsatisfying when the moment happened. You're just like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's it. Really.
I mean, I think I had the most issues with just, you know, Michael Fassbender's character's speeches. You know, polar opposites. In what seemed to be the longest halftime in the history of sports, by the way.
Yeah, halftime's usually 15 minutes. This felt like half an hour.
Yeah, I mean, and the character completely transformed. Did a full 180 from the start of halftime to the end of the halftime.
Although I do think Michael Fassbender was fantastic in that halftime speech, just pure acting wise, you know, like actually showing his emotions. I think that is probably one of the best parts of the film.
I mean, I thought Michael Fassbender was fine. It's not particularly a strong performance from him.
Oh, definitely not. But for what he was given script wise and what this movie is, I think that's probably the best he probably could have given.
Yeah,
and probably one of the best moments in the film, just from a pure acting perspective.
it was good.
You're right about Gaia's little story arc. You know, it seemed like as if it was building throughout the entire thing.
Yeah,
entire movie thing, the entire movie, for a payoff, and then the payoff happened, and you're just like, oh, is that it? Like it was supposed to be a huge character arc for her. You know, I'm gonna spoil it because who the fuck's gonna see this? She gets given the captain's band at the end, and that's supposed to be like a huge moment for her. Because she was going on about how she's transitioning and stuff, but how she's just still legal to play.
Yeah.
And that's never been done before at that time. So that should be a huge moment, but it was just stupidly rushed. It wasn't thought out.
There's
and
no payoff.
No payoff. It just wasn't good.
It's absolutely awful. Yeah. I mean, I think I said what I need to say. Yeah. In terms of the technical side of things, how do you feel about that?
It's nothing really. There was nothing fancy about it. You know, there was no shots where it was like, oh my god, it's amazing. The sound was just, you know, I don't know. Whenever they kicked the ball, it just seemed over the top loud.
Yeah.
You know, it's just I think this film just fails both in pretty much every aspect. There's like no good, strong category. It's just all
Yeah, I really, really did not like this movie at all. I mean, there were kids playing Tiggy in this movie, I'm pretty sure, by the way. People running up and down the aisles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you saw that?
I did.
Yeah, that's how bad this movie is, by the way. Kids playing Tiggy in a New Zealand premiere. First time it's screened in the country. And yeah, you got the kids playing Tiggy. I mean, but shout out to the bloke next to me who seemed to laugh every 5 lines. It's yeah.
It's because he's one of the bros with the actors. That's why.
Yeah, yeah. It was nice for the actors to come and you know, promote the film and show their support for, you know, New Zealand and the screening here and giving it a nice little introduction. I do appreciate that. You know, it's always nice when, you know, they take time to come to the screenings in New Zealand. We don't get it often, so that's something I really did appreciate. But overall, man, this movie is an absolute miss. I'll say it. It's Taika Waititi's worst movie.
Ever.
Yep. It's worse. I'd rather watch Thor: Love and Thunder.
Actually.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I'm opposite. I'd rather watch this just because it's shorter and.
Oh, yeah. Okay. If we're taking runtime of it, sure. I'm not going to be that pragmatic about it. But at least we got Gore, the God Butcher. He was good. The visual style in that movie at the end is actually good, and we did get a payoff with that character that I can go in there and I can appreciate a little bit. But there's no redeeming quality.
No, not even when Samoa scores a goal. It's just like, cool.
I know, right? Yeah, and you know, we're talking about the characters. Michael Fassbender's character, Jaya, played by Kaimana. Potential for sure, but never done in a way where we can actually resonate with it or encapsulate what the character's about. So there's no payoff to any of it. And okay, I don't know what's more unfunny between the two, but I think Thor: Love and Thunder is more tolerable overall.
Yeah,
you know,
probably yeah.
But they both have their cringe moments. I really we need to start doing some studies in terms of what's happened with Taika Waititi's comedy. He went from being a really good comedy writer to abysmal.
Yeah.
He might be one of the worst in the business. I can't recall a franchise or, you know, a set of two films that have been more unfunny than Thor: Love and Thunder and Next Goal Wins.
And he's acting so cocky about his Star Wars film as well. So we already know how that's going to turn out. Dramatic pause.
Killing one franchise at a time, honestly.
James, dramatic pause. What is your score?
1.5 out of 10.
I was thinking the same.
Yeah. And there is some bias there to Taika. I hold a little bit more of a tighter leash. I'm a bit more strict when it comes to his films. You're an Oscar-winning screenwriter, so write something good. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. All right. That will do us on this review, which has just been mostly us ranting about how shit Taika is.
Is this one of the more of... This is the biggest, like, kind of like negative review we've done, eh?
Yeah. I think it's just more frustration. Because it hasn't been like a good movie and then a bad movie and a good movie. It's just been mediocre, bad.
This one's bad. So I wouldn't go see it. Don't go see this movie.
Yeah. Go watch the Marvels. Give that film, at least make it try break it.
The Marvels is better.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The Marvels is even funnier.
That is
Can
true.
you believe that? You put it into that context. Oh gosh.
Even the Flash is funnier than this movie. And the Flash had some horrendous moments.
Yeah, it is. Just awful. Just awful. Yeah, this movie is not worth your time. Don't bother investing in it. Yeah. Just my take.
Go watch an actual game of soccer.
Yeah, that would be funny and a bit of use of money as well.
Yeah. All right, that will do us on this review. Hope you've enjoyed us blasting off and whatnot. If you want to, if you see the film and you think differently, head over to Instagram or X and give us a DM and let us know your thoughts. If you're a Taika fanboy, do the same. We'd love to have an argument with you. If you want to hear any more of these reviews, I promise you that they are not as flamboyant and aggressive. So head over to Spotify, wherever you pod from, and give us a listen. And you can also listen to our Let's Be Real podcast as well, where we do discuss stuff, but not as intensely. And if you want to check out any other content that we do, head over to moviegains.com and give us a little look. We do stuff from reviews, 4K content, box office analysis, and Oscar predictions. Yeah, that will do us until tomorrow. We got Napoleon.
No, we got Godzilla. Is Napoleon tomorrow?
Pretty sure it's tomorrow.
Or is it Godzilla -1?
No, Godzilla's on Wednesday, I'm pretty sure. Okay, it's either Napoleon
Or
or
Godzilla.
Godzilla. So expect either a monster movie or a historic movie from us tomorrow
And then we got The Color Purple on Sunday.
on Sunday. Yeah, but we'll address that when we see our Wednesday movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Could be Color Purple tomorrow.
could be, but it's not. Anyway, we'll catch you guys later. See ya.
Peace.